Good morning, Alan. Good morning, Gabby.
Rene, I really enjoyed the game last night. I know it's disappointment, when you have a cushion of two goals, but end to end, they will rue, defensive errors. They'll look at the goalkeeper. But Rene, are United, are they getting there, or is there still a long way to go?
There is a not long way, but there's still some way to go. I mean, for the neutral yesterday, it was you couldn't catch your breath. It was fantastic to watch end to end. I mean, it was from a coach's point of view, tactically, it was just defensively mistake after mistake, and I think this is where United really have to improve. If you look at they're an enormous threat going forward, and they got goals in them, and now they're starting to score more goals than a few weeks ago when they just scraped a 1-0 win. But that's the they've got. But if you look defensively, you look at the league, you look at them in the league, they're sixth in the league. They've only 6 points of the top, 4 points of the top four. But goals scored 16 and goals against 16, and that says it all for me.
So, Rennie, where is that coming from? It's very easy to blame centre-backs or people not going with runners. Is the midfield doing enough defensively to protect the back four?
No, I don't think the midfield get enough help. Don't get enough help. If you look at how United plays with the wingers, with Anthony and Garnacho really wide, but even defensively, they really stay wide and they sort of press in the area where they are, where a lot of other teams would have the wingers coming tucked in to support the side of the midfield players to give him a bit more protection, and that is where the problem is, because if Fernandes is there, who wants to do so much work and he's all over the place and he leaves that sort of area, you push McTominay a bit forward to help Højlund in the press. That leaves one guy in the middle. Massive hole.
Rennie, I'm with you. Do you know, and sometimes I complain about, I look at Arsenal when they play the two wide players. Don't get me wrong, they're both top players. But if they're not getting the ball, you're short in midfield, Rennie.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it shows all the time. And I think that could be quite easily rectified if there's a bit more structure from the defensive point of view. They managed the game. When they started the game, it went absolutely to the plan. It couldn't be any better. 2-0 up. The only thing you need to do then is to make the pitch small in the middle, in the center of the pitch. Let them play around you. Then press them, make them go back, frustrate them. But it was just open house. And again, I think Fernandes, although he had some really good stuff in the game, he scored a cracking goal, had an assist, fantastic. But he gives 2 silly fouls away.
Yes.
And then again, Onana is not looking too good in the corner. But also, I do think with the second free kick, I think Martial needs to do more. If I look in the replay, I think he could have put his head on it, and he didn't. He sort of ducked half out of the way.
Rene, I want to ask you quickly, sorry, mate, about the player that everyone's talking about at the moment, the 18-year-old Maino. Done well against Everton, didn't he? Last night, he looked composed. How do you think he's doing?
Brilliant. I think for a young boy, and like I said, and obviously Ten Hag has seen that early on in the pre-season, but he picked up an injury. I think otherwise we would have seen more of him earlier. But I was so impressed with him against Aston Villa. He's calm. He reads the game really well. He's got to change the direction in him. He's going to be a top player in that position.
You can't blame him for you can't blame him for that goal yesterday, can you, Rene?
No, obviously the guy runs off him. He does. He tracks him. He was just a little bit late, but I don't want to take anything away from that goal because it was one of the best goals I've seen. Because the first touch was absolutely fantastic, and then the only backswing. You know how difficult that is.
Yes.
Gabby. In those positions on the run at an angle, it was a cracking goal.
You just don't think he's going to score from there, do you, Al?
And
no,
Rene,
you don't think he's even going to shoot, do you?
He was he came off the bench, didn't he?
Yes.
It was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Rene, how did you see the weekend going? We've got it live on talkSPORT, Newcastle against Man United, because Newcastle were very impressive in Paris, weren't they? And Paris were at it as well. They were bang at it. But the way Newcastle, their fitness levels, the way they're backing each other up was a joy to watch. So this is a cracking game Saturday night live on talkSPORT.
Well, absolutely, and I don't know, but I remember it vividly from last year, because last year Man United never turned up, and that was credit to the way that Newcastle went about it. They started to press right from the front, early moment on, and they kept it going for 90 minutes. And normally they nullified United's threat, to play through the lines and to counter-attack them with pace. They never had any chance doing that. So, but it's a big ask, when you go into Europe and you give everything. What Newcastle did, you have to travel. Same with Man United coming back from Turkey. So it's going to be a cracking game again, 100%. But interesting to see how they match up.
What would you do with Onana, Rene? I mean, he's so good with his feet, isn't he? So composed. But if you're a manager and a coach watching the game from the bench last night, you'd be thinking to yourself, come on, we're 3-1 up, and then mistakes just cost you, don't they?
Well, you want the first and foremost, what you want from goalkeepers, you guys played the game. If you look over your shoulder and you got somebody there and you think, well, even if they outplay us, they still have to go past him. That gives a lot of reassurance to everybody, to the back line, to everybody. The opposite is also true. If it's not, where the people think, oh my God, we hope we don't give anything away, because if that comes our way, we might lose another silly goal. And that is the problem. The most important thing, first and foremost, goalkeepers are there to keep clean sheets, to stop the ball from going in the net. Secondly, yes, it's an added value if you are good with your feet and play enough. And I've heard you before, Alan, and there's a time and place for that.
Yeah.
At times, why would you play out from the back with 50-50 risky passes?
Exactly.
That's asking for trouble.
Exactly, Rene.
That's asking for trouble. And that is a little bit, I think, where everybody is. And that is, I think, it sums it up. United, the goals they scored and the goals they conceded. If they can deal with that, if they can bring that down, the goals will come anyway. But if they can defensively shore things up, I think they're on the right way.
Rene, great to talk again. Thank you very much. Rene Meulensteen there, absolutely. And just to put to sum things up about Man United, so now they have to beat Bayern Munich, Old Trafford, and hopefully Galatasaray draw with FC Copenhagen.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Alan Brazil. Thursday and Friday morning, 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.